Hello everyone, welcome to Swiflearn YouTube Channel where we connect life with our lovely YouTube kids. I hope you all are fine. So today we have come up with the second session of the midpoint convergence. I hope you have gone through the first video. If you haven't, we will revise that concept and we'll move further. So you'll get a quick glimpse of what we have started in the first session. And if you want, after the session, you can go back and check that video so that you have a proper knowledge of what we have done. All right, so before starting our today's session, let us talk something about the platform Swiflearn. Yes, Swiflearn offers 100% live and interactive classes by saying that here the teacher is present live in front of you to teach you that. All right, so she would be present there to solve all of your doubts. So when it's possible, it's only possible because we have a minimum number of students that are there. So maximum of 6 students are there in a batch. So each and every batch offers you a personalized attention. So the teacher is present there to give you personalized attentions, and there are maximum of 6 students present. So you all can bring your lovely friends all together and make your personalized batch. Isn't that great? Yes, not only teachers, but there is an academic mentor team that keeps a track of your work and progress. So here the teacher as well as a team is looking after your classwork, your homeworks, your assessment, and each and everything you perform. Not only that, the timing in which you do that. That's really very important because we don't have a whole day to solve assessment right in the school exams. Yes, so it makes us visualize and get to know that is the child able to solve that in the required time or not? Will he be able to complete the exam and have he able to grasp all the concept or not? So timing plays a very, very important role, and this team keeps a track on that. We also cover syllabus as per school exam schedules, and you can also tell us a new topic or the old ones which you're not familiar with or you're not so sure about it. We are here to teach you. So that's why it's known as India's most sincere learning destinations for classes 1st to 10th. Yes, this platform is known for its sincerity throughout the world. So all the ones of grades 1st to 10th, what are you waiting for? Kindly book a free trial class. So yes, the trial class is absolutely free. You can quickly book that and enroll with us and see whatever the ma'am is saying today, is it true or not. So let me put some more light on the key features. It is a detailed progress report that I told you, which is given in a form of statistics that you can see on your panel. Apart from this, we also have SAT exams. That's Swiflearn Academic Test Series. It's a SAT exam which is being done on our website. So it's the exam which is running throughout the world, so you know where do you stand in the global place. Isn't that great? Yes, you're not end of the competing with only your schoolmates or maybe your friends. You're competing with the whole world which are there on the same class. So that is why the SAT exams help us to get to know our positions. And if we like it, then we can practice more so that we can sustain that. So that is why we are offering unlimited practice tests where you can go and practice. Even if you want improvement, then also you need to practice. So anyway, practice makes a human being perfect. And we know that. That's why we are offering unlimited practice tests. You can go and practice as many as you want. Now talking about the practice tests, what are the practice tests of? There are 2 types. One is subjective, one is objective. Subjective means where you need to write each and everything, you need to upload, and the teacher would be present there to check each and every step that have you written the right reasoning or not. Otherwise, it is being mentioned and teacher is there to guide you accordingly. And this will help you not losing marks on the reasoning part. Isn't that great? Yes, and we also have the exams in an objective manner, which is there in a multi-choice questions, which is there in a competitive exams. So now here you can have 3 or 4 options that you need to click, which are really very close. It can make you confused that is your answer right or not. So by this, you are able to practice for your competitive exams as well as your school exams. So if you really like what we all are doing and you really appreciate that when we come live here and you want to learn with us here, so you need to subscribe to the channel and press on the bell icon. Why pressing on bell icon is important? Because we are not telling you when are we coming up next, what is the new topic all about, which is your favorite teacher on the YouTube coming up. So if you want to get that update, so just remember to click on the bell icon. All right, so here we go with our midpoint and it converts part 2. So let us revise what we have done in first part and then we'll continue with the new thing altogether. So here we go, the objective for today's class. We will recall midpoint theorem. We'll state and prove equal intercept theorem. We'll state and prove equal intercept theorem, and we'll also solve that intercept theorem. So the theorem which we are learning, interception theorem, we will be using its application as well. So can we start? Everyone ready? All right, so here we go with the first thing that we did in the last session. To recall, what have we learned? We have learned two theorems which are really very important, and based on those theorems we had practiced some questions. So today we'll take 2 questions on that too, so that we can revise, and then only we'll move further. All right, so let's start our theorem that says that if the line segment joining the midpoints of any 2 lines of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is equal to half of it. That means that if I say that D is a midpoint of AB and DE is parallel to BC, then E will be the midpoint of AC. So that is what this theorem says, and we have learned the theorem's proof as well as we have done it. So if you have still problem, you can go and check out our first session. All right, moving on to second theorem that we had discussed in before, that was a straight line drawn through the midpoint of one side of the triangle parallel to the other one bisects the third side. So that's what it says, that if we join 2 midpoints, they are parallel, and then it bisects the third side. That means it divides the third side. Secondly, it should be parallel. So anyway, we are doing vice versa. So when we say a midpoint is given, we draw a parallel line and touch the other point. The other point is also a midpoint of that side. Secondly, if we say that we are joining 2 of the midpoints, then the line that is drawn should be parallel to the third side. So anyway, we are just doing the vice versa of it, and the theorem is applicably true for both the situations. All right, so let me check your knowledge. So let me do like whatever you have seen the first video, maybe you know it prior to that. Were you able to solve these questions or not? So here we go with the first question. It says solve that equation obtained by joining the midpoints of an adjacent side of a rectangle is a rhombus. Any idea how can we do it? All right, so if you remember, and if you're continuously watching my classes on the YouTube, you will get to know that the first thing that I do is I make a figure. So whenever it's saying that the figure, you need a figure, or maybe you can make in a rough column and think of how to proceed because you don't know in that questions. So let's first make a figure of what they are wanting us to do. All right, so they are saying us that you need to prove that the figure obtained by joining the midpoints of the adjacent sides of a rectangle is the rhombus. So first of all, it's telling us that it has to be a rectangle. So I said that A, B, C, D be a rectangle. All right, done. Now it says joining the midpoint. So let's mark their midpoint as well. So let me mark the midpoint with another one that you get to know that what are we talking about. So these are the midpoints. All right, so I hope I'm making it justice to the midpoint which is required in the figure. So this is what, and then it says that I need to join these midpoints. So that's what I'm doing. I am joining these midpoints. All right, so here we go. We have done it. So what does it say? That when we join the midpoints, it should be a rhombus. So let's label what they want us to do. It will be P, Q, R, and S. So he wants us to prove that PQRS is a rhombus. So I hope you all know the properties of a rhombus. If you don't, so today we will be using that and we'll revise this. So each and everything is related, everything is linked. So if I anyway prove the properties of a rhombus, that will give us that PQRS is a rhombus altogether. So let us start and see how do we do it. So before doing that, do you think it's possible doing this? No, it's not. So what we need to do, we need to construct. So in that case, what will I construct? I'll construct a diameter. So let me change the color so that you know what I'm doing it. I will be constructing a diagonal of BD. So BD is a diagonal here that I have constructed. All right, so what I need to do, whatever is given. So first of all, if you remember, we said that we need to write whatever is given or whatever we want to do. So we'll say that given that A, B, C, D is a rectangle, right? That is what is given to us. All right, and it's also that says the midpoint. So let's say P, Q, R, and S is the midpoint of the sides. This is how you need to write. It's really very important. And the sides, the P is AB, and then it is BC, and then it is CD and DA. And remember to write respectively. That's very, very important that we are talking about. That P will be of AB, Q will be of BC, midpoint of BC, R would be a midpoint of CD, and S would be the midpoint of DA or AD. All right, this is what we need to do it. This we need to write. Then after that, given is written, we'll write construct, right? We need to write what are we constructing. So we said construct. Yeah. So what it said, I construct. So what am I constructing? I need to construct two diagonals. I will say two diagonals. So constructing two diagonals, BD and AC. So I have done BD. Let me do an AC as well. Why am I doing it? Even if I do one, it will work. But still, if I need it, why? Because this will help me in future. So when I say it's a diagonal, what does that mean? That BD will be equal to AC, because we know the diagonals of a rectangular are equal. So by this, I can say that it becomes the equation number 1 that I have constructed and gives us a value that this side is equals to this side. All right, done now. Moving on to next, what I need to prove. So this is what was the general way to start off. We haven't started our question answer yet. So let's see how do we start our answer. So here we go with the next question that we have. So we'll start with the proof. What I need to prove is I need to prove that PQR is a rhombus. So but how will I do that? So let me say that from triangle ABT. So we are talking about, let me highlight it for you all so that you remember that which triangle are we talking. So we are talking ABT, this side of the triangle, and the other side is this one. So I'm changing the other color. Let it be a little separate. So you know we are talking about these triangles now. The bigger triangle that are formed. So we talked about triangle ABT and triangle BCD. So these are the two triangles that we are talking about, and let's see what happens in those triangles. All right. So we say that PS is equals to half of BD. When we talk about these two triangles, I know P and S are the midpoint and they are the straight line. So that will happen. They will be parallel anyway. So I know BS is equals to half of BD will be equals to the other side of this triangle will also be equal to this one. So I can say directly it's equals to QR. Right. And that's what I said, that the property is it's a triangle whose midpoints are given. When we join it, it becomes parallel and it's half of it. So we're using two theorems that we have started in the last session right away. So now we'll also there that PS is parallel to BT is parallel to QR. Am I right? So in that case, I'm able to say that these three lines are parallel and the half of it is true. Now from this, what that comes? It's twice of BS is equals to BD is equals to twice of QR. I hope it's clear. And we can directly say that this PS is parallel to QR. So here we come up with the first equation. We did one of them that was given. So let's say it's second equation. All right. Moving on to next one. What I need to do, let me consider another triangle. So let me consider this side of the triangle. So if I say similarly, so this is what it says, similarly sign. Similarly from triangle ADC and triangle ABC. So what do I prove that? I will be able to prove that 2 times PQ will be equals to AC will be equals to 2 times of RS. I hope it's same because that is what the triangles are forming. We are talking about these triangles now, right? So now they are also equal. So this becomes my third equation. So from first and third, also we can say the other side that I need to say is that they are parallel. So which side will I say in this thing which are parallel to each other? That becomes PQ is parallel to SR. That's what it says, the second, third equation. Now, what do I see? I see that both the sides are equal and both the sides are parallel. So that gives me that PQ is parallel to RS. Also, PQ is equal to RS. Second, this is from the third equation, right? We can say from equation third. And from equation second, I got that PS is parallel to QR. Also, PS is equals to QR. because the 2 and 2 get cancelled. So anyway, will that be equal? Yes. So when two lines are parallel and equal, what does it show? That it shows that PQRS is a rhombus. So that's what it was required to prove, and that's what we have done it, that it is a rhombus. I hope it's clear, guys. All right, great. So this was so easy that whatever the theorems we have used already, the midpoint theorems that we have started, we are just using that and finding its value. So anyway, when it says rhombus, I means that the sides should be equal and they should be parallel. So I had to prove that the sides are equal and parallel. So for that, I used the property of the rectangle that was given to us. And what was the property? That the diagonals are equal. So the diagonals है वो equal है, तो हम property of rhombus को use, rectangle के use करके उसके अंदर midpoint theorem की application करके हम ये प्रूव कर सके हैं कि वो एक rhombus है. Alright, so remember कि drawing करना, picture बनाना really very important है. Without that, it will not be accepted. And it says that the figure, so it's not showing you the figure, you need to make that. Alright, moving on to next question. Let's see how many of you can do this. D, E, F are the midpoints of the side AB, BC, CA of an isosceles triangle AB. So isosceles triangle, that means two sides are equal. Or कौन सी sides equal है? AB is equals to BC. We need to prove that DEF is an isosceles triangle. So first of all, what is important? To do a construction. So let's do that. So let me draw an isosceles triangle so that we can say that it is. So some figure which says isosceles triangle. So here we go. And what does it say is that DEF is a midpoint. So before going to midpoint, let me label it that ABC is a triangle. And then for the midpoint, let me take another color so that we get to know exactly what we are talking about. That D is a midpoint of AB. So this is D. E is a midpoint of BC. And this is F. So let's draw these joining these triangle. And then what is required? क्या मांग रहा है हमसे कि जो ये जो triangle बन रहा है ये भी एक isosceles triangle हो. So this is what I need to prove, that DEF is an isosceles triangle. So anyway, what can we do? So let's see what is given. So first thing that comes up is कि हमें क्या दिया हुआ है. So given is that ABC is a isosceles triangle. That is what is given to us. And it's given that DEF is a midpoint of these sides. So that is all you need to write, that it's a midpoint of the triangle that is given to us. Thirdly, it's also given that AB is equals to AC. So I know this side is equals to this side. All right. Now what I need to prove, why I have to prove. So I'll write to prove that is required. Remember, these is really important. What is given, what you need to prove. And after that, you will start the proof. So it's what I need to prove is DEF is an isosceles triangle. All right. So now how do I start the proof? So let's start with a proof altogether that I need to prove it. So let's start. What does it say? Is that ABC is an isosceles triangle. AB is equals to AC and DEF are the midpoints. If DEF are the midpoints, that means twice of DE will be equal to AC. Right, in the triangle itself, I'll say twice of DC will be equals to AC. Similarly, I'll say twice of EF will be equals to AB. But what is given? Given that AB is equals to AC, that means 2DE will be equals to 2EF. And in the bracket, you'll write AB is equals to AC, which is given in the question. Right. What does that mean? That DE is equals to EF, and hence if two sides of a triangle are equal, what do they become? They become an isosceles. So hence proof that DEF is an isosceles. This was a super easy question, right? Yes, simple application was required. If this is given, I am just using the theorem of a midpoint that says that if this are the midpoints and they are joining up, that will be parallel to the third side. We already know it. That's a theorem that says. Second, it says that it will be the half of AC, and we can say will be the twice of AC. That's what I say. So will that be okay? So half of AC will be DE, or twice of DE will be AC. So we are using the property of the theorem that is given to us. And after putting that, we got to know that the two sides are equal. So we'll say hence DEF is an isosceles triangle. hence proved. All right, so here we go. We just revised what we started in the last class and their applicative theorem. I hope you have understood. So let's start our today's class. So today's class, that topic that we have to study is an equal interception theorem. Proofs and simple applications. So each and every theorem that we are studying, अभी तक हम Swiflearn में जितना भी पढ़ रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, पहले एक theorem पढ़ते हैं, उसकी application समझते हैं, उसके ऊपर दोबारा revise करते हैं, and then we start ahead. So this is how we work at Swiflearn. So you should surely book a free trial class. That's absolutely important to check that whatever I'm saying is true or not. All right, so let's start our today's theorem. It says equal intercept theorems. So हम इसकी proof और application भी देखेंगे. So first of all, ये क्या हो रहा है? आपको any idea what does it say? When I see that what is happening, it's becoming a right angle triangle in a pyramid, and what type of shadow it's happening. Similarly, in human figure, when you see a shadow is happening and it's becoming a triangle. So anyway, what is happening in both of the form, we got to know that it's a right angle triangle because it's a 90 degree. And this side and these sides are the same thing that we are talking about and the angle form. So let us understand what does it say. What does the intercept theorem says first of all? So it says that if a transversal makes equal intercepts on 3 or more parallel lines, then any other line cutting them will also make equal intercepts. So what does that mean? Let's understand with a diagram that it says. First of all, it says a transversal. That means it has to make a lines that are parallel and there is a transversal. And it says that it makes equal intercept on 3 or more parallel lines. So they're making 3 intercepts on 3 or more parallel lines. And then another line. So if I say CD is cutting that line, then that will also make equal intercepts. That is what is required. So let us understand how to do this. So first of all, let me give you a glimpse of what is given to us. All right, so here we start with the proof of the theorem. It says that given that AB is a transversal, line L, M, N are parallel lines. All right, so that is given to us. Now, what does it say? That the CD is another transversal that we are drawing, and it says that it meets at the line L, M, N, and at the points of L, M, and N. So small line L को हमने बड़ी लाइन से बोल दिया, L से M को छोटी लाइन को M पॉइंट बोल दिया, उसका इंटरसेक्शन और N का कैपिटल है. So सिंपल कर दिया ताकि हम कंफ्यूजन ना हो और कोई और वेरिएबल्स ना देने पड़े. तो वो L लाइन है, ये M है और ये N है. सिंपल आ जाए. तो वो किस पे कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रही है? L, M और N. हमें क्या करना है कि LM और MN को हमने इक्वल करना है. We have to say that LM is equals to MN क्योंकि PQ और RQ are equal. That's given in the question. So what do? We draw a construction कर रहे हैं. क्यों कर रहे हैं बच्चा? देखो यहाँ पे हमारे को ये लाइन दी हुई है और ये लाइन इक्वल है. हमें ये वाली लाइन इक्वल प्रूफ करनी है. तो हम इसी के पैरेलल यहाँ से पॉइंट P और Q से ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं. मतलब कि इसी लाइन को थोड़ा पास ले आए ताकि यहाँ पे क्या बन जाए? एक triangle बन जाए. Simple. So we said that draw PS and QR which is parallel to CD. इस लाइन से parallel बन गया. So I've got this line parallel to it. Now we will show that these two triangles are congruent. अब इन अगर दो triangles जो बने इनको हम congruent proof कर देंगे तो हम जो QT है और PS है इसको equal proof कर सकते हैं जैसे CPCT से. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. So अगर हम इससे प्रूव कर दें तो ऑटोमेटिकली LM और MN इक्वल हो जाएगा. तो ये हमारा इस थ्योरम का ओवर ग्लिम्स है. So what have we done? We have just constructed a line parallel to PS and this is what the line is formed, and now we need to make that they are equal in a way for which we'll use the similarity of a triangle. So that's what I said. So in the triangle PQS and QRT, PQ is equals to QR, that is given to us, an angle PQS. So what am I talking about? This angle. PQS and QRT, the corresponding angles are equal. So I know that. Now the side is equal, these angles are corresponding, they are equal. Moving on to next, what other angle can I prove? Can I prove that QPS? I'm talking about this angle. Can I prove this angle QPS and this RQT are equal? Any idea how can I do it? Yes, I have one angle, I have one side. If I'm able to prove one of the side or one of the angle equal, and then that proof is solved, congruency is solved, I'm thorough with it. But I know I cannot prove QT, I cannot prove RT is equal to QS because that's not given, and anyway I will not be able to use it. So that means I have to show a relation with the angle itself. I have no option left with me. So in that case, I'll say, okay, also QPS is equals to RQT, which is a corresponding angles, as PS is parallel to CT and is parallel to QT. So when I know these lines are parallel, and what is happening? It's happening a corresponding angle as it is. So now what's happening on this line when it's equal, it's parallel. So I can say that QPS and RQT are corresponding angles of PS and CD, which are parallel to CD and QT. So they are parallel to this. That means the angle that they form are also corresponding. That means this angle and this angle are corresponding angles. So by this, I am able to prove that these angles are equal. Now I know they are equal, so I'm able to prove by angle side angle congruency that these two triangles are congruent. Now that's the matter solved. Now I know they're congruent. That means the parts are equal with CPCD. That's what we were talking about. So I was able to visualize it and say that PS is equals to QT. The corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. So now when they're equal, what does that means? These two sides are equal. So that means that this side and this side are equal. Now let's talk about PS. ML. So what is happening now? These is parallel, right? And this is parallel to this one. Now I know they are parallel and PS is equals to LM. That comes up that the other pair of the opposite side is parallel of a parallelogram. I know these two are parallel. That becomes a parallelogram. I also know that this side is parallel to this one. So it's a parallelogram. End of the day, I'm able to visualize that it's a parallelogram. And when it's a parallelogram, what does it mean? That the two sides are parallel and they are other sides, right? So they are also equal. So I'm able to get to know that they're parallel and equal. Similarly, I'm applying the same logic on the parallelogram that is forming below it. Uske niche jo ban raha hai, मैं उसपे same logic apply कर रही हूँ, that is QTNN. इससे भी I have able to prove that QT is equals to MN. Now I know that both the sides are equal, so ये वाली side इसके equal होगी. That means end of the day, what I want to say that I'm saying that LM is equals to NN, and that's what the proof is, and I'm able to solve. सिंपल लॉजिक था. करा क्या है बच्चा? लेट मी कंबाइन द थ्योरम. दैट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपको ये प्रूफ आ जाते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं डाउट होता है. तो सबसे सिंपलेस्ट ऑफ ऑल क्या है? वो हमारे को ए बी एक ट्रांसवर्सल कह रहा है. LMN तीनों लाइंस पैरेलल है. उन्होंने हमें बोला हुआ है कि ये पी क्यू जो साइड है और क्यू आर है ये इक्वल है. हमें क्या प्रूफ करना है? LN और MN इक्वल है. अब इक्वल है, दोनों अलग हैं, तो किसी भी तरीके से कुछ भी ट्राइंगल नहीं बन रहा, हम कुछ प्रूव नहीं कर सकते. तो इसके लिए हमने कंस्ट्रक्ट करा कि हम एक काम करते हैं, इसी को पैरेलल बना देते हैं सीडी लाइन से, जिसकी वजह से ये वाला पैरेलल LM के पैरेलल हो जाएगा. ठीक है, क्यों करा? अब ये वाली साइड जो पैरेलल है इस साइड पे. ऑलराइट, उसके बाद हमने क्या देखा जब हमने ये बनाया? क्यों बनाया? रीजन क्या था? ताकि हमें ये दिख जाए कि इट्स अ ट्रायंगल. तो हमने ये ट्रायंगल बना लिया. अब ये वाला छोटा सा जो ट्रायंगल बन रहा है, इन दोनों को हम कॉन्ग्रुएंट प्रूफ कर देते हैं. दैट्स व्हाट वी डू. सो नाउ व्हाट वी आर सेइंग दैट ट्रायंगल PQS और QRT को कॉन्ग्रुएंट प्रूफ करना. कॉन्ग्रुएंट कैसे प्रूफ करा? कि एक ये वाला एंगल भी कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल से इक्वल है, ये वाला एंगल भी कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल से इक्वल है, क्योंकि ट्रांसवर्सल पे है और कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स है. पैरेलल लाइंस है, ट्रांसवर्सल है, तो कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स बन रहे हैं. हमने ये प्रूफ कर दिया. अब क्या बन गया? एंगल साइड एंगल से कॉन्ग्रुएंसी प्रूफ हो गई. राइट, अब कॉन्ग्रुएंसी प्रूव होगी तो उसका मतलब क्या हो गया बच्चा? कि हमारे सारा ट्रायंगल्स के सारे पार्ट्स इक्वल हो गए. तो दैट मीन दिस साइड इज इक्वल्स टू दिस साइड, और ये हमें प्रूव कर दिया. अब हमने ये तीनों साइड्स को, दोनों साइड्स को इक्वल कर दिया. अब हम जाते हैं दूसरे पॉइंट पे. अब हम कहाँ गए? हम गए इस पोजीशन पे जहां पे हमने देखा कि ये क्या बन गया? एक पैरेललोग्राम बन गया. क्यों बन गया? क्योंकि ये वाली साइड इसके पैरेलल है और ये वाली साइड हमने ऑटोमेटिकली इसके पैरेलल कंस्ट्रक्ट ही करी थी, तो वो पैरेलल होती थी. अब पैरेलल भी है दोनों साइड्स, ऑल द फोर साइड्स आर पैरेलल, मतलब कि वो इक्वल होंगी. तो दैट्स व्हाट आई से दैट नाउ दीस टू साइड्स आर इक्वल. दैट आई एम एबल टू प्रूव इट. अब हम जाते हैं दूसरे ट्रायंगल पे. अब हम जब दूसरे ट्रायंगल पे गए तो हमने देखा कि ये वाला भी एक पैरेललोग्राम बन रहा है दूसरी नीचे लाइंस में. राइट, अगर ये पैरेललोग्राम है तो सेम लॉजिक अप्लाई करा. क्या लॉजिक अप्लाई करा? कि QM is parallel to RN, right? और QT जो है वो पैरेलल है MN के, right? अगर दोनों पैरेलल है, पैरेललोग्राम होता है तो उनकी साइड्स भी इक्वल होती हैं, तो आई एम एबल टू प्रूव दिस आल्सो। अब मुझे पहले ही पता था कि ये वाली साइड इसके इक्वल है और बाकी भी सारी इक्वल होगी, दैट मींस MN LM is equals to MN and that was what is required and we have done. I hope it's clear now. All right, great. अब हमने ये क्यों याद करा बच्चा और इसको समझना क्यों जरूरी है, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर हम एप्लीकेटिंग क्वेश्चंस करेंगे। सो लेट्स सॉल्व सम ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑन इंटरसेप्ट थ्योरम्स। तो इंटरसेप्ट थ्योरम्स पे हम कैसे थ्योरम्स को सॉल्व करेंगे और उस पर कैसे रिलेटिविटी करते हैं हम वो देखते हैं। So let's start with the first theorem की application का सबसे simplest question. So I think you all will know it. If not, let's solve it. We need to solve that BC if AB is given to us. So अगर AB मेरे को दिया हुआ है, इसकी वैल्यू क्या है 7.2। तो पहली बात तो हम ये देख लेते हैं, ये लाइन L है, ये M है और ये N है। तो लाइन L, M, N are parallel to each other. Alright, तो मतलब कि उनके जो डिफरेंस हैं वो B इक्वल होंगे। अगर मैं कह रही हूँ AB is 7.2, so what will be BC? So anyone who can tell me BC quickly? Yes, that's right. So BC will also be 7.2 क्योंकि दो लाइंस के पैरेलल है, इंटरसेप्ट थ्योरम से ही प्रूव हो रहा है, तो ये वाला जो डिस्टेंस है वो इसके इक्वल होगा। That's what I say. Yes, they are true. Moving on to second one. Let's see what does it say. DE हमें निकालना है, okay, and FE is given to us 4 centimeters. ये हमारे को दिया हुआ है, EF is 4 centimeters. और GE निकालना है, so I have to find out the complete, not GF. तो DGE ये कितना होगा? Any guesses? Anyone who can tell me? Yes, ये 4 centimeter है तो ये भी 4 centimeter हुआ, तो what will give us as GE? So GE will be, yes, that's right, 8 centimeters. Superb, very good. Moving on to next one, it says AE. We need to find out. Okay, I need to find out AE. So let me erase it once so that we have already done 2 questions. Let's understand this. हमें निकालना है A की वैल्यू. Okay, इसकी वैल्यू निकालनी है. And what is given? BD. So this point's distance is given, that is 4.1 centimeter. All right. ये क्या होता है इसका? Yeah, so if I talk about this triangle, right? If I'm talking about triangle ACE, B and D are the midpoints of the side AC and D is the midpoint of CE. So that means they will also be parallel, right? अब ये क्या होता है इसका? Half होता है, तो AE क्या होगा उसका? Double होगा, simple as that. So that gives me BD is 4.1 centimeter. AE is twice of BD. That's, we know it. Yeah, BD. So twice of BD becomes 4.1 times 2. So what do I get? 8.2 centimeters. So AE is 8.2 centimeter. So here we go. We got the answer. All right. Moving on to the fourth part. What does it say? Anyone? I hope you all have understood the third one. Or fourth तो quickly answer दे सकते हो. It's just 1 second question. हमें DF निकालना है और हमारे को CG दिया हुआ है 11 सेंटीमीटर और DF कितना होगा इसका? Yes, quickly tell me. Yes, it's half. Superb. So what is half of 11? 5.5. Very good. So the answer would be 5.5 centimeters. So let's check whatever we have done, is it true or not. So that's right. BC was 7.5 because it was same. GE was double. So 4 plus 4, we got 8. And the other one, we also said that it was what? In the previous question, what we were able to know, that was 4.1 and that also became double. So that was 8.2. And this one, it was 11 centimeter. Uska half hame milega. That is 5.5 centimeter. All right. Superb, guys. That was great. So let's start our topic of writing the steps. That was important. So ये तो एक multi-choice questions में आ सकता है या फिर 2 parts दियो, 2 mark के questions हो. These now you know application you can do it easily, बहुत quickly हो जाएगा. But let's understand how do we solve such type of questions which are generally asked in your school exams. All right. So let's see in the figure that is given to us. Okay. AD. All right. AD is twice of AB. All right. So this is given to us. Let's underline or make a circle that whatever is given to us and what I need to know. So AD is twice of AD is equals to AB. All right. Next one, it says P is the midpoint of AB. Okay, it's a midpoint of AB, not AD. So just underline what it says. It's a midpoint of AB. All right. second point we have done. Let's talk about third. What it says that Q is a midpoint of DR. All right, so Q is a midpoint of DR. And the fourth thing that is given to us, that is PR is parallel to BC. So PR, this line is parallel to this line. What I need to prove? I need to prove that AQ is parallel to BS. So this is what is required for me. So it's required that AQ is parallel to BS. That first part I need to prove. And second part. So this question has two parts that I need to prove. The another one says that DF is 3 times of RS. So मतलब ये मतलब क्या होंगे? RS के सारे equal prove करने पड़ेंगे तभी वो 3 times होगा, right? So anyway, any guesses how you can proceed with the first part? हम पहला part कैसे prove करेंगे? Okay, last का तो मैंने hint दे दिया. 3 times है तो मतलब वो सारे parts equal होने चाहिए. Alright, first की बात करते हैं. सबसे पहले first part आता है AQ is parallel to BS. हम कैसे prove कर सकते हैं AQ parallel है BS के? Yeah, any guesses? Alright, so let's start with following the steps that is required. So let me get the whiteboard for you so that we can understand the steps with the figure. All right, so here we go with the first part of the question that is required. So पहले हमसे वो क्या बोल रहे हैं proof करने के लिए? पहले वो लिख लेते हैं AQ is parallel to BS. That is required to prove. So I hope you all know what is given. You can write it. You know what is required to prove. You will write this to prove. And let's start with directly doing the question about the proof. कि proof कैसे करना है? जो main point है. Question से copy करना given तो it's easy, right? That's very, very easy. All right, so let's start. What is given? I need to prove that this triangle AQ is parallel to BC. So how can I do that? Any guesses? How will be able to do it? So let's see first of all. So in triangle DPR. So we are talking about this triangle. So what I need the triangle first? I need this triangle. Why am I doing it? क्योंकि मुझे AQ की कोई वैल्यू निकालनी है जो कि इस PR से पैरेलल हो, तो उसके हिसाब से हम देख सकते हैं, right? Okay, so let's see what does it say. So in this triangle, we are talking about A and Q. Both are the midpoints of A and Q are the midpoints. I'm writing the short form. I know you need to write it completely. Midpoints of DP and DR respectively. All right, so I'm able to know that this is a midpoint that was given to me before, that P is a midpoint of AB, right? And what is given? P is a midpoint of AB, and what was other was Q is a midpoint of DR, right? So I'm able to do that. So in that case, what does it come? It comes that therefore AQ will be parallel to PR. Right? अगर ये midpoint है तो ये parallel होगा. Right? That's what it says. Okay. So now I know that these are the midpoints and they are parallel to PR. Alright. So एक चीज तो मेरे पास ये आ गई, और PR BC के already parallel है, ये तो मुझे दिया ही हुआ था, right? Since it is given that PR is parallel to BS, so what will happen? अगर ये इसके parallel है, ये इसके parallel, automatically ये भी parallel हो गया, which gives me directly that AQ is parallel to BS and hence proved. So first part prove हो गया, super easy है कि हमने एक ट्राइंगल की बात करी, ये इसका मिड पॉइंट है और वो A जो है वो मिड पॉइंट है DP का. तो जब वो इसका मिड पॉइंट है तो उससे क्या होगा, हमें ये पता चल जाएगा कि ये वाली जो साइड्स हैं वो दोनों क्या है, पैरेलल है, क्योंकि जो दो मिड पॉइंट से मिलती हैं तो थर्ड साइड के पैरेलल होती हैं, दैट वी नो इट. सो इन दिस केस आई नो दिस इज पैरेलल टू दिस एंड दिस इज ऑलरेडी गिवन दैट BC is parallel to PR, which was already given to us. So end of the day, we got to know that PQ is parallel to BS. All right, so we are thorough with the first part. Am I right? Yes. Let's move to the next part. What do we have to prove in the next one? Let's erase it and read the question. So another part says that I need to prove that DS is equals to 3 times of RN. Alright, so any guesses इसको कैसे कर सकते हैं? अभी तक हमने पैरेलल तो प्रूफ कर दिया, अब आगे क्या करना है, हमें वो साइड के इक्वल प्रूफ करना है कि मतलब कि वो मिड पॉइंट है और 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर रहा है और 3 जो पार्ट्स वो डिवाइड कर रहे हैं तीनों के तीनों इक्वल है. दैट आई नीड टू प्रूव. सो लेट्स सी हाउ डू आई डू इट. So in the second part, I need to prove, we'll talk about in triangle ABC. So हम पूरे ABC triangle के बारे में, ये वाले triangle के बारे में बात करेंगे. क्यों करेंगे? क्योंकि हमें इसी से ही कुछ ना कुछ मिलेगा. क्या मिलेगा? Let's see. यहाँ बताया हुआ है P is a midpoint of AB. That is given to us. See, P is a midpoint of AB. Now, what do I say? I say that in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB, right? P is a midpoint of AB and it's given that PR is parallel to BS and this is also given to us. So मतलब ये वाली side इसके parallel है और ये वाला इसका midpoint है. Alright, so now when I talk about this, what am I coming up to? I am coming up to point that, yeah, so we'll talk about this triangle later, but what I have done before that, I have made this as a midpoint. So I'm talking about not the triangle ABC, but instead I was talking about the triangle BDS. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah. So in this case, we were not talking about this triangle. Instead, we were talking about this triangle and then we'll relate it. So I'm talking about this, but right now what I'm talking about will come to this situation. So let me erase it and I'll say, okay, in triangle ABC as well. Let's do that. Just give me a second. Let me arrange it. Yeah. So I'll say that in triangle ABC, this is given to us. But now I'll say in triangle, we are talking about BDS. So now I know P is a midpoint and will give us that R is also a midpoint of what triangle am I talking about? R is a midpoint of BC, right? So I'm able to get to know that this is a midpoint of BC. So when I talk about this triangle that I was talking about first only, so let me clear it off. Let me do it from the starting. Just give me a second, all right? So I can make it clear for you all. So I'll do it from the starting. It says this triangle all together. So here we go. Let's start out. In triangle ABC, I am talking about P is a midpoint that we are saying. So P is the midpoint of AB that is given to us. And it is also given that PR is parallel to BS. So I know it's a midpoint and it's parallel. So when this is midpoint and this is parallel, what does that mean? This is parallel to BS and this is parallel to AC. If I'm able to prove that, then that becomes a midpoint, right? So this gives me that R is the midpoint of BC. So if you see that this becomes the midpoint of this triangle that we were talking about, and this is what happens, it became a midpoint and this triangle, we have done it. And now we know that they are parallel. All right. So now this being the midpoint, this is parallel. This will come out to this side as well. So now we'll go and we'll prove the congruency of these triangles so that I can prove that this, what I was required was DS is 3 times of RS. So DS मुझे चाहिए और ये 3 times क्या हो RS के, मतलब ये वाली side, ये वाली side, ये वाली side मुझे equal proof करनी है end of the day. So let's see how do I do it. So I'll say from triangle BRS and triangle QRC. So BRS or QRC. So let me highlight it for you. What I'm talking about. I am talking about these triangles now. क्यों कर रही हूं मैं इनकी बात? क्योंकि मुझे ये वाली साइड इसके साइड के इक्वल प्रूफ करनी है, तभी होगा ना 3 साइड्स के लिए, राइट? सो इन एनी वे आई कैन प्रूव दैट RS is equals to QR. It makes my half of the job, right? That is what is required. So for this, what will I do? I'll try to prove the congruency between these 2 triangles. So let's see how do I do it. I'll say that angle BRS is equals to triangle QRC. So in this, I am able to prove that this side of an angle is equals to this one, alternative angles. opposite angles, right? They're opposite to each other. So we'll say get opposite angles are equal. So because this is parallel and this is transversal that's happening, then opposite angles are equal. Now I know that this is a midpoint will give me that BR is equals to RS. So I'll say as R is the midpoint, so will give me BR is equals to RC. So I've got to know one angle and one side are equal. So I've done half of my congruency. Let's move on to the other third part that I need. Congruency means what I need three things to be proven. So I am able to prove two of them, that one angle and one side is equal. What is required? I need to prove any one side or any one angle. If I'm able to do that, then my matter is solved, right? So let's see what I can do. I can also say that angle RBS. So I'm talking about this angle now. This angle is equals to angle RCQ. So I'm talking about this angle. So these two angles are also equal. It's a transversal forming on a parallel line. And what happens? The corresponding angles are equal. So now by this, I am able to prove that triangle BRS is congruent to triangle QRC. So I am able to prove this congruency, right? अभी तक मैंने क्या करा, हमने ट्राइंगल लिया, उसकी मिड पॉइंट जो दिया था हमने आर को मिड पॉइंट बना दिया. क्यों बनाया? ताकि हमें ये साइड इक्वल मिल जाए, राइट? फिर हमने ये ट्राइंगल की कॉन्ग्रुएंसी प्रूफ करने के लिए ये वाला एंगल्स प्रूफ करा कि एंगल्स दो एंगल इक्वल है और एक साइड इक्वल है. तो हमने किससे करा? एंगल साइड एंगल. सो हमने एंगल साइड एंगल से इसकी कॉन्ग्रुएंसी प्रूफ कर दी. Right? After doing that, what I can say, I can directly say that QR is equals to RS. Why am I saying that? Because CPCT. So corresponding parts of corresponding angles are equal. So उससे मैंने ये साइड निकाल लिया and let me label it A, क्योंकि ये ही मुझे यूज करनी है आगे. Right? ओके, सो अभी तक आई होप आप सबको क्लियर हो गया. एवरीवन क्लियर कि हमने क्या करा है? दो ट्राइंगल्स की कॉन्ग्रुएंसी प्रूफ करके उसके हमने साइड्स प्रूफ कर दी. नाउ आई नो दिस. अब हम जाते हैं क्वेश्चन पे जो हमारे को दिया हुआ है. हमें क्या दिया है? उन्होंने दिया है हमें कि ds जो पूरी साइड के बराबर चाहिए. तो पहले ds को लिखते हैं. ds इज इक्वल्स टू व्हाट? dq प्लस qr प्लस rs. यही पूरा इक्वल है ना, राइट? ये हमें फिगर से ही दिख के पता चल रहा है. ओके, अब dq किसके बराबर है? dq बराबर है qr के, because q is a midpoint. It's q and c. q is a midpoint of dr. So I can say that as q is the midpoint of dr, that means dq will be equals to QR. So ये वाला हमने ले लिया फर्स्ट पार्ट का. तो फ्रॉम फर्स्ट पार्ट आई गॉट टू नो दिस इज QR. QR तो ऑलरेडी है ही है, और प्लस जो हमने ए पार्ट यूज कर लिया उससे भी क्या आ गया? ये QR. सो आई राइट इन द रीजनिंग फ्रॉम फर्स्ट इक्वेशन एंड इक्वेशन नंबर ए. ठीक है, अब इसको क्या हो गया? 3QR and that is what is what required. So hence I have proved that these are cutting into three equal parts. और हो गया. So बच्चों, जब भी क्वेश्चन में दिया होता है everything is given equal, जब भी हम ये बात करते हैं जहां पे हमें ट्राइंगल दिखता है, we will first most thing we'll do is to find out the congruency. Congruency से हमारा everything gets easy. I know all the parts and I'm able to solve that. All right. Okay, moving on to the next question. Let's see how many of you can do this. So it's really very important and I think it's super easy if you have understood the concept and you will be able to do. So let's first read the question. It's given that in a triangle ABC, angle B is obtuse. Okay, I know angle B is obtuse angle. Now, what I will say is that D and E are the midpoint of the side AB and BC respectively. AB और BC के respective मुझे दे दिया है. And F is a point on C. मुझे F एक point दिया है C in such a way that CEF is parallel to AB. So किसी तरीके से वो parallel है और we have to prove that it becomes a parallelogram. Let's see. So first thing first, we'll do it. First thing is to make the picture, the figure that we are thinking of, so that we visualize that what we are required to do and what we have already given. So अब A है. All right. So first of all, पहली बात, अगर मैं ऐसे बना रही हूँ तो I'm making an equilateral triangle. Is that right? No, it is not, because it says that angle B is obtuse. So I have to make in such a way the triangle that angle B has to be obtuse angle. All right, so let's make that first. So I'll make this one like this. So will give me an obtuse, because it has to be greater than 90 degree. That is actually required for me to do that. So I am making that in that way only. अगर मैं गलत बना दूंगी और मेरे आप मेरे को figure से समझ ही नहीं आएगा. All right. Moving on to next one, it says D and E are the midpoint of it. So this is D, this is E. All right. So suppose it's a midpoint. Now it says that F एक ऐसा point है जो कि वो इसके parallel हो. So let's make that parallel one and let's join these dots with a line, making that. Now, what does it requires us to make? It requires me to prove that this is a parallelogram. So this is what is required. D, E, F, D, like D, E, F, D. So I think I have done the labeling wrong. Let me see. D is for AB, E is for AC, and F is for BC. No, it is E here, right? So that's what is important, that you check that whatever you have labeled, it is right or not. So it says that E is a midpoint of BC. So this has to be E and this will be my F. All right. So now when I read it that D, B, E, F is a parallelogram, I am able to do that. So ये चीजें बहुत important है बच्चा, क्योंकि corresponding respectively दिया हुआ है, तभी जो भी मैं labeling कर रही हूँ is important. That's why I always say that respectively plays a very important role in solving these questions. All right. So can we start the question? What does it say all about? It's given to me that EF is parallel to AB. So let me write that EF is parallel to AB. That's given to me. And if it's parallel and it's a midpoint as well. So E is the midpoint of BC. That is given to me. Parallel भी है, midpoint भी है. So what will that give me? So अगर ये parallel है और midpoint है, that will give me that F is a midpoint of AC. Now with this, I am able to prove that F जो point है वो क्या है? Midpoint है. So which gives me that F is the midpoint, I'm writing the midpoint of AC. So here I am able to prove. कैसे prove कर पाई हूँ? क्योंकि this is a point which is a center. This is a point which is meeting on the other line, and this is parallel to the line, and that is why it says that it is a midpoint. All right, I'm able to do that. Okay, so now I know that it is parallel and it is able to solve it. Now next what it comes out for me is how do I move ahead? कि मैं इसको parallelogram कैसे prove करूँ? अभी तक तो मैंने parallel prove करा है, right? अब मुझे पता है EF parallel है B के या BD के, ये इसके parallel हो गया. और ये भी पता है EF जो है वो equal to है BD के. तो अगर वो equal भी है और parallel भी है तो वो क्या बन जाता है बच्चा? It becomes a parallelogram. तो मैंने एक चीज से ये वाली चीज तो equal proof कर दी. अब इसको दूसरी जगह पे चलते हैं और दूसरा प्रूफ करते हैं, जिससे कि मैं ये कह दूं कि BE is parallel to DF. I'm able to prove that this is parallel and this is also equal because D is a midpoint and EF is a midpoint. Right, I know this in the triangle that I'm talking about. So by this, I can say that DE is parallel to BF and this is parallel to ACBC. Right, now I can say also why I'm saying it, because BC is parallel to AD. That gives me BC is parallel to DF. अगर ये पूरी line parallel है तो automatically ये भी parallel है. Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'll say DE is parallel to DF and BE is equal to BF as E is the midpoint. सिंपल midpoint की हम लगा रहे हैं. पैरेलल भी हो गया, इक्वल भी हो गया. चारों की साइड जो ऑपोजिट है, दोनों की दोनों पैरेलल इक्वल, ये भी पैरेलल इक्वल, तो क्या बन गया? इट बिकेम अ parallelogram. So therefore I can say that BEFD is a parallelogram, and this is a short form of parallelogram. I hope I've done it. I've used a lot in first video. I told you in the first session that this is how I can write in a short form. It is a parallelogram. All right, so moving on to next one. Let's see how many of us can solve the next question. I hope it's clear. Now, let's see the last question that we have for the day. If we are able to solve it, then great. Otherwise, I'll tell you how to do it. So it's given that in a triangle ABC, B is a midpoint of AB, N is the midpoint of AC, and D is any point on the base. So it's not a midpoint. So what does it say? It's telling me, okay, it's saying that use the intercept theorem. So I have to use that to prove that MN bisects AD. तो अब तो पहले ही हमें पिक्चर नहीं पता MN का है AD का है. So first of all, what is important? To draw the triangle that we are talking about. So let me draw a triangle. Now in this, it's not telling me, it's up to you, so I can draw in any way. That does not make a difference. All right. So I'm drawing an equilateral triangle. I'm more familiar with it. I'm more comfortable with it. So I will be able to do that. So that does not make a difference. All right. So I've done this. It intersects any point. So I've made it a straight line because it says bisect. So it has to be something like this that I need to prove. So let me do that. And another one that it says that these two are the midpoint. So let me draw a line that says a midpoint, and I'm able to do that. So N is the midpoint of AC. And D is any point on BC, and what else is left? M is the midpoint of AB. So M भी हो गया, N भी हो गया, और हमने ये भी कर दिया. So I'm able to do that. Let me put this point, जो ये वाला point of intersection है, उसको push तो label करना है, right? Otherwise I'll not be able to do it. So let me label X or 0 O. You can do anything. So if you want, you can do O. You want, you can do X. That does not make a difference. Now, what I have to prove? I have to prove that MN bisects AD. So bisects AD का मतलब क्या है कि अगर MN इसको bisect कर रहा है, मतलब AX should be equals to XD. This I need to prove. All right. To prove, I have to do this. That this is required. That I need to prove that AX is equals to ये side इसके equal है. That I need to prove. So any idea how can I do this? Anyone who can do the guesswork के intercept theorem इसमें कहाँ लगा सकते हैं, कैसे लगा सकते हैं ताकि हमारा easy हो जाए matter? Yeah, I'll give you 2 seconds to think over it and then we'll start the proof. All right, so meanwhile I'll erase it for you and let's see, we'll start the proof for the ones who are able to do it. Good, you are able to get closer also, then also it's very good. All right, so let's start our proof now. How can we prove this? So first of all, मुझे क्या दिया हुआ है, जो भी बच्चे क्वेश्चन में दिया होता है ना उसी को यूज करना है. आई नो इट. तो पहले मिड पॉइंट दिया हुआ है, इंटरसेप्ट थ्योरम में मिड पॉइंट्स तो बहुत ज्यादा वर्क करते हैं. तो we'll say that since it's given to me that M is the midpoint, so let me short form of midpoint as well, midpoint of AP, right? And N is the midpoint of AC. अब ये भी इसका मिड पॉइंट है, ये भी इसका मिड पॉइंट है. Well, that will give that MN is parallel to BC. So which will give me that MN is parallel to BC by the theorem of midpoint that we have learned. That अगर दो points parallel points होते हैं, उनको join करेंगे तो third side के वो parallel होती है. जो theorem we have studied in the first session, right? So we are able to come to this. अब ये क्या हो गई? This is parallel to this. So अब intercept theorem में क्या कहता है? अगर these two lines are parallel, then it's a transversal is cutting. That means they should both are equal. That's what it says, the interception. That's what we'll say. Now, simple as that, according to the intercept theorem that we are talking about. So we have to write, because saying using, so you'll say according. You have to tell that what I am doing, I'm using this theorem now. So don't deduct my mouth. All right. So according to the intercept theorem that you told me to do it and I'm using it, since MN is parallel to BC, this is parallel, what will say? That will give that AN is equals to BM. AM is equals to BM, right? And now when I know these are equal, what does it become? Which will automatically give me that AX will be equal to DX, क्योंकि अभी हमने क्या करा था कि ये लाइन हमने वैसे बनाई थी, इसके equal gap होगा, right? Remember that we did it. So I am able to get that AX is equals to DX, and this is what it was required, and I am able to prove that MN bisects AD in two equal parts. सिंपल. पहले क्वेश्चन में क्या दिया हुआ? मिड पॉइंट्स दिए, हमने मिड पॉइंट से फिगर बनाई. सो फर्स्ट मोस्ट थिंग है कि आप फिगर्स अच्छे से लेबल करके बना लो. ऑलराइट. अब वो कह रहे हैं इसको बाइसेक्ट कर रहे हैं, मतलब ये मिड पॉइंट को कुछ ना कुछ तो लेबल करना पड़ेगा. मैंने उसको एक्स मेंशन कर दिया कि दिस इज एक्स पॉइंट. Alright, now अब मेरे को इसको equal proof करना है, तो पहले midpoint दिया तो midpoint theorem लगा लेते हैं, right? So we put that midpoint joining two midpoints as parallel, the third sign becomes parallel itself, so I'm able to prove that. तो ये दोनों parallel हो गए, and after this I am able to apply intercept theorem that is required actually. When say that two lines are parallel and they are being a transversal being given, then the paths are equal. That gives me AM is equals to BM. That is, I'm able to do it. अगर ये मैं equal proof कर लिया, I'm able to prove that the gap between them. So because what is happening now, it is becoming a parallel line. So if you want, you can draw the C यहाँ पे एक line ऐसे parallel हो गई, right? This is what it's going. So these LMN are parallel and this is the transversal. So by this, I'm able to prove that AX is equals to EX, and that was it required. All right, so that was it. So we are able to solve the questions on the practical way as well. So let's take a look on the real life examples, that why are we studying this actually? Do we really apply this in the real life or not? So let's see, it says that a lady wants to get onto a flat roof and needs to work on what size the lady needs work. तो उसको एक साइड चाहिए लेडी को, उसको वर्क करना है, तो 1.8 meters is up, okay, from here, and there is a bracket setting out of the wall, and there is a bracket casting a shadow of 3 meters. So I can see this is 3 meters of a shadow, and this is casting here away from the base. So that means it's coming away from the base, and the flat roof comes. Now, if I talk about this flat roof, it's casting a shadow of 8 meters from the roof. What high is it? So I need to calculate this one. So anyone who can think we'll be able to calculate this or not? Yeah. So let's visualize it and see first of all. I know you have seen the answer, but let's see how many of you are able to do that. So first of all, let's see how can we do this. See, in this question, it's given, हम इस दोनों triangle को इकट्ठे बना के let us label. So A, B, C is a triangle that is forming, and let it be D and E. So now it's not a midpoint. So we have to use the intercept theorem to see is it applicable or not. So what does it say? That it's intercepting, that means it's dividing into equal ratios, right? So that's what it says. अगर वो equal parts में कर रहा है क्योंकि वो midpoint है. अगर वो equal midpoint में नहीं है तो what will it give? It give equal ratios. That's what it says, the intercept theorem. So what will I be able to do? If I am able to find out these, I am able to say that this side, what is it? 3 centimeters. So BF upon BC is equals to what is BD upon AB. ये इसके upon में smaller upon bigger is equal to ratio of smaller upon bigger. That's what I did. अब BF कितना है? 3 meters. BC कितना है हमारे पास? 8. BD कितना है? 1.8. And AB, but is what I need to calculate, which I said is X. All right, so let me write directly X because that I'm saying that it is X now. And I need to find out the value of X. So X will be equals to 8 by 18 by 10 into 8 by 3. So that gives me X is equals to 48 by 10. That is 4.8 meters. So here I come up with the logic. So अब हमने ये intercept theorem के अंदर ये क्या चीज सीख ली? We were able to understand the ratio theorem as well. Yes. So intercept theorem is also known as Thales theorem or the Thales intercept theorem or balanced proportional theorems or side splitting theorem. So many names. Do you know this? Intercept theorem can be known as Thales theorem or intercept theorem or basic proportionality theorem or slide slipping theorem. So एक ही चीज के अंदर अगर हम एक लाइन पैरेलल है और वो उसको इंटरसेक्ट कर रही है उन पॉइंट से, तो वो उसके पैरेलल वही तो वो सेम रेशियो में करेगी. That's what Thales theorem says or intercept theorem says. All right. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you have learned something new, that there's so many names given to one theorem, and we think when someone says, do you know this theorem? We said, we don't. There's so many to learn, but that is actually one theorem itself. So, and then that theorem, we are able to find out the intercept theorem that says that the sides in the midpoint, it becomes equal, the same ratio है, तब भी equal होगा, automatically ratio में same है ना, तो 1:2 के ratio में कर रहा है, वो half में कर रहा है, तो 1:2 के ratio में divide कर रहा है, तो इसलिए उसको हम half midpoint theorem के अंदर कर देते हैं. So what theorem is used in intercept theorem? Anyone who can say? Yes, that's right. Now you know it, that the Thales theorem is used because in the intercept theorem it says 1:2. So वो half के ratio में तभी divide करके हम इसको ये show कर देते हैं कि वो double है पूरे से, और 1:2 के डिवाइड करने पे हमें क्या पता चल रहा है कि पूरी दोनों साइड्स क्या है, इक्वल है, तभी वो मिड पॉइंट होता है. Alright, so that's it for today. So we were able to cover, we were able to recall the midpoint theorem, we could understand the intercept theorem, and you can see the application and from where has this intercept theorem come to our books. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed today's session and learned something really very good. Thank you so much for being connected. If you really like it and want more sessions on this, and you want to know when is the next session coming up where we will be having quizzes. So if you really want to know that, so kindly subscribe to the channel and press on the bell icon so that you never miss any update from us. Till then, take care guys. Be safe. Bye-bye.